Welcome back to Podcast Central. Andrea Javino here, and we have Toby TNT back. And today we're going to cover some of our views on what's going on in the country with the election. The election is the big thing right now. We're a week away from the election, and there's so much controversy. Democrat, Republican, liberals, and I feel from my point of view is that it doesn't matter what party you vote for, it's what's best for the country.
Exactly.
It's what, because we're all united. And when I hear a lot about even the banter back and forth with the candidates, nobody wants to hear that.
So here's the thing. Let me just say this now to the people that are watching. I'm going to say it now, and I'll say it at the end again if I remember. If you ever have any confusion about who you want to vote for, why you're going to vote for them, you go on the candidates' websites. They have all the political views that they're campaigning on. Now, both of these candidates have both held public office. One is a president, one is a vice president. So there's already a history that they have. Did they deliver on what they're already campaigning on? And, where do you stand as an American citizen as far as what they are campaigning on? If they're telling lies and they already been in office and they didn't deliver on it,
right?
Or if they are, in Kamala Harris's case, she's currently in office with Joe Biden. What has she done so far since she's been in office? My personal opinion is not a whole lot, but everybody's right to their opinion. That's the beautiful thing about this country. We're in the United States of America here. And, it is nice having a two-party system, although, I'll tell you outright, I vote Republican. I'm a Republican, but I believe in the two-party system because it needs to serve different people in different ways. But right now there is, there's an agenda that's being pushed on both ends. And, we brought in some of the pamphlets of some of the marketing tools that both these campaigns are using as far as what they're campaigning for. There's a lot more to it than just these pamphlets that we have on the table here. Again, I encourage you to go on both candidates' websites if you're confused and you don't know who you're voting for. That'll give you an idea of where they stand and what they have or have not done during their time in office. And
I just feel is that I've never experienced what's happening in the country that whoever you say you're voting for, then you fight with friends. So like I had been a Democrat my entire life, but I could say this Democratic Party isn't the Democratic Party it was. It's just not the same Democratic Party. First off, she wasn't elected. She was selected. Okay. That's number one. Number two, no one wants to hear these two, either of them, going at it back and forth. We want what's best for the country. We want the country to be united again and the strongest country and the richest country in the world. I think, my own opinion, we have been spoiled by when you put the news on and you see other countries suffering, like let's just take Ukraine or Russia or Israel or Palestine. They bomb into where the people live, regular civilians, refugees. We have never experienced that. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, God. And we don't want to experience that. So this is a very serious election. You have Russia and China teaming up, and now you have North Korea backing them. So the only thing I know is that those countries in itself do not respect women. They don't respect women.
I think our country's losing respect during this current administration. So as of right now,
we've lost a lot of respect.
I'm going to jump into real quick before we go into both of their agendas. I'm going to jump into political corruption and what goes on. I'm going to jump into that topic briefly because this is a crime channel, and what
Right.
political corruption is, and how this kind of operates and maneuvers.
Well, let me say this: people are turned off that he's a numerous felonies, was hit with numerous felonies.
The guy had a clean record until he's been in office. They're trying to throw everything at him to get it to stick. They're literally taking every possible thing, throwing it to the wall, hoping it sticks.
I know, but on
He's
her,
not perfect. He's
no, he's not
definitely an
perfect.
imperfect
But on
guy.
her behalf, she was a prosecutor. She was vice president. You know, and my question for her for that is, because she wasn't elected, she was not elected to be in this position that she's backed Biden because Biden wasn't fit. Can she run the country?
Look,
That's my question.
she's a very successful woman.
Mhm.
She did a phenomenal job in the debate against Trump. I think she actually out-debated him.
She did.
But let's talk about something now. Let's talk about competence and incompetence. Let's talk about one's plan and another's plan. You get into, two people that both served. Trump did, in my opinion, did a very good job when he was in office. He did a good job with the military. He did a good job with the economy. He did a good job with the border. I mean, these are major, major issues.
Yes, he
when you
did.
vote
He did.
when you're voting somebody in. And then he got hit with COVID.
And hold on. And the country was doing well.
Mhm.
It was doing very well, the
Yeah.
country. I mean, now the country is not what it was when he was in office, because look at the prices of food and everything. We're getting killed. We're getting slammed. Senior citizens can't live. They can't live on that check alone.
She's been a vice president, in my opinion, that's been on the sidelines. And
I know, but on her behalf, she was thrown into this.
she was thrown into this because
Yeah.
they felt Joe Biden couldn't win.
Right.
So they felt Joe Biden couldn't win, so she gets thrown into it. But she wasn't the best possible Democratic candidate. There's probably plenty of other Democratic candidates that are way better than her. But now this is what the country's dealing with. For me, I have to say, I'm a bit nervous to think that she's going to run the country. And I'm going to tell you why.
I am
right
also.
now, where we're at politically and around the world. And let me jump back into the corruption part of this, of what goes on. One of my clients, I'm not going to mention her name, happens to be a Democratic politician. The type of politician that really cares for doing the right thing for the people in her area that she serves in, okay? Here's what she told me, okay? A lot of these politicians, they get donations.
Right.
And they need these donations in order to win and to keep their campaigns going and to be successful at what they're doing. So they're essentially bought by certain people.
Mhm.
So just to put this in layman's terms and put it in perspective, these politicians are bought with campaign donations. They need the campaign donations to fund the marketing,
Right.
the
to keep them current and running.
yes, to keep them basically in the mix.
Right.
And to get them where they need to be in order to stay in office. So therefore, they get tainted. They get tainted and corrupted by an agenda that maybe somebody on the outside or some big company is trying to push that's going to benefit that particular company.
Mhm.
So politics is very gray in this country.
Mhm.
When you get a guy like Trump in office, the guy was already a billionaire.
Mhm.
He wants to leave a legacy behind to do a good job.
I think he definitely cares about the country. I
Look.
believe that, and what I like about Trump, what I do like about Trump, is other countries will fear him.
Look, I voted for him, but I'm going to talk about what I don't like about Trump.
Right.
Oh, I didn't realize I even had my phone in my pocket. Let me
Okay.
shut that down. What I don't like about Trump, and what a lot of people probably
His
don't like
mouth.
about
His
Trump,
mouth.
is his mouth.
His mouth.
His mouth gets him in
His
trouble.
mouth gets him in trouble, but I
Oh.
think at the end of the day, his mouth gets him in trouble, but at the end of the day, he wants to do what's right for the country.
What I'm looking at is the politics. I'm looking at the candidates. What's the politics? What are they campaigning on?
Right.
What have they done? What are they doing? That's where we get into. It's right here. Here's
Right.
what they're campaigning on. These are the mail outs.
Yeah, these are the mail outs. Trump says common sense record of success, low taxes, low tax tax cuts for everyone and job opportunities, secure the borders, which is a big deal. This is, what's getting mailed to us. This is what he wants to put out, secure the borders, safer communities, tougher on crime and violent criminals behind bars, which we want, global security, no new wars, peace in the Middle East, which we all want that.
Agreed.
We all want that. And I think that
Hold on. He delivered on that. When he was in
Yes.
office, all of those key points right there that you just mentioned, he literally delivered on.
and America's interest comes first.
Here's something else in another advertisement that Trump has. Keep men out of women's sports and protect women's scholarships by reversing the Biden-Harris rewrite of Title IX. So, you have all of these transgenders now stepping into, you got men stepping into women's sports. This is crazy. You're going into women's locker rooms.
Well, I wouldn't want my daughter or granddaughter going into even a bathroom and you have
a man
in there, because I don't know, listen, this is a criminal channel. I know a lot of criminal people, and a lot of them, that have been incarcerated and all, tell me, like, these pedophiles get off on looking at little girls or looking at little boys and could maybe pretend to be a different gender.
It's
just
disgusting.
It's just disgusting to me.
It's disgusting.
I just feel with that, keep men with men, women with women.
As far as transgender rights, we're all Americans in this country. So let's just say someone is black, white, straight, gay, whatever. This is the United States of America. We all have equal rights.
Everybody does.
I don't care what your color, race, or sexual preference is.
No.
There's equal rights in this country. We don't need to be worried about what somebody's gender is or what their sexual preference is. That's left for the home.
I never look at people. I've never, maybe because, my brother is gay, and I don't even like to say the word gay, because I don't even look at someone of what their sexual presence is. Like, I don't look at you and like what you're going to do in bed. You know what I mean? Like, for me, I don't look at somebody and say, oh, he's sleeping with this one, or she's sleeping with a man, or he's sleeping with a man, or men and women. I don't look at it like that.
It shouldn't even be brought into politics. It shouldn't
be brought up. It's you are who you are, and I love people for who they are, not for what their sexual preference is. I don't care who they sleep with. It's none of my business.
Let's jump into a couple of other things here as far as what they're campaigning for. So one thing I don't fully agree with Trump, he's eliminating taxes. This is what he wants to do. It doesn't mean it's going to get done, but he's looking to eliminate taxes on tips for tip-based workers, which would be like a waiter or a waitress, and eliminating the tax on tips for them. They were already getting paid a lot of time. A portion of their money's already getting paid in cash, so they may not even be paying taxes on that anyhow. I'm not sure I agree with that. I'm not really sure what that does for the good of the country. It will benefit those specific workers. They would like it. It would benefit them. I don't know that that's something he should be really campaigning on, but it is what it is. Now we get into abortion. This is a big subject, and this is a crazy subject.
It is a big subject. A woman should have a right to their body. I do feel that women have a right to what their choice. Now, a man can't come in and tell them what to do with their body. I agree.
Well, let's get into the laws here. Okay, let's get into. There's one thing with a right to choose. There's another thing with when you're allowed, and I believe it's in the state of Pennsylvania and various other states, where after 6 months you could still have an abortion.
No, I don't agree with that.
That's a live baby.
Yes,
these doctors are ripping out
I don't
a live
agree with
baby.
that. But I believe Trump put it back on the states. The state makes that choice, not the president. The state makes that choice.
Okay. In the particular case of Kamala Harris, I guess she wants to have it, federal law. Trump wants it to be chosen by the states.
And I think the state should make that decision.
Make the decision.
Right. Because I think that birth control abortion shouldn't be like a form of birth control. Like, you don't, like, we have enough knowledge, and things do happen. I believe that if someone is molested or someone is raped, they shouldn't have to be forced to have a child they don't want. I don't know what the woman's circumstances are to bring a child into the world, where maybe the guy is going to do 100 years in prison and She has no means of support. She just finds out she's pregnant and she wants to have an abortion. That's her right.
Here's where I
That is her right.
Here's where I have an
And
issue.
I'm a Catholic.
Here's where I have an issue. I'm a Catholic, and this is a very sketchy law. The laws are all over the place with this, depending on what state that you go into. Okay, as far as murdering an unborn child, there's a living.
Well, I
human
don't
being
think
inside.
of abortion should be performed after I think it's 8 weeks or whatever you should know, and then do it as soon as possible where it's no harm to the child, to the mother, even whatever. Sometimes people are pregnant in their tubes, which can be very life-threatening.
That's a different story.
the mother. Right.
That should now be a doctor's choice,
Right.
not having an abortion clinic where they're tearing babies
No.
out that are 6 months old.
No,
I mean, this is sick that this goes on in this country.
does it go on? Because I don't I have not heard of it going on.
Before
I
we
know.
did this podcast, I looked it up online.
Okay.
And to see what the laws are, and apparently different states, Pennsylvania,
Allow that?
Pennsylvania being
I
one of
can't
them.
even get into
Pennsylvania
this.
being one. Some states,
This
some states it's banned and it's illegal. Okay, certain
it
states.
should be banned. That should be banned. I mean, that's a little bit. That's murder right there.
So that's a big issue where she's campaigning on this. He's campaigning on that. He wants to leave it in the hands of the states. She wants to,
Women's
have
rights, women's rights, and there are certain, it's a very touchy situation, and it's a very,
So I'm gonna jump down to Vice President Harris's agenda. She wants to obviously protect the right to choose. She wants to provide a new additional $6,000 child tax credit. Okay. Is that a tax deduction? Like again, some of her stuff is a little bit unclear, and that's what a lot of the issues seem to be with her campaigns right now.
Well, a lot of people say she was backing everything with Biden, so she backed everything with Biden. What are, with the policies of even or open borders, and look where we got with that. All these criminals coming in to our country, crime was up so high, and not even knowing where to place them and put them. These people are being shipped to different states. And also just how inflation is right now. Inflation is up. So what is she going to change? And my fear is that in politics, they do promise a lot of stuff, but the people want to see it follow. We don't want to see her and him fighting on stage, bantering back and forth.
No.
Nobody wants to see that. We want what's best for the country on a whole.
So one of her next things is she wants to stop big corporations from price gouging us on everyday goods. This is an inflation problem that's going on across the country. Both candidates are campaigning on trying to curb this inflation problem.
Okay.
The reality of it is this current administration appears to have started this inflation problem. And it does not seem to be doing a good job with dealing with and handling the current inflation problem. So, again, I like to be fair to both.
I do
both
too.
sides. Like everybody needs a fair shake.
Yes.
Same way in the court of law, you got to give somebody a fair shake.
Yes, and you have to give her props for she is an intelligent woman. She is. People, say a lot of terrible things about her. The way they say a lot of terrible.
She's a smart woman. She's the vice president of the United States.
She wouldn't have gotten there. Exactly. She wouldn't have gotten there. This is a very hard election for me because I've been a Democrat my whole life, and this doesn't seem like the Democratic Party that I grew up with, and it's not.
It's
so
not.
I'm
this
torn.
Is not,
I'm
this
really
is,
torn.
This is not a hard election for me because I'm looking at the two candidates. I'm looking at what they both had the opportunity to do when they were both in office and what they have done. For me, it's not really a difficult choice.
Well, I think that, when Trump was in office, Trump did deliver. Mm-hmm. He did deliver. And I believe he will deliver. And I believe Trump will make the country great again, as he says. But it's none of your business who I'm going to go vote for. And that's the thing I wanted to bring out. It's really...
Hold on a second. You're my mother. It is my business.
No, it's not. Because to be perfectly honest, this is the why I wanted to do a show. There should be no fighting with friends or anything. It's a person's preference and choice who you vote for. You don't get mad at a person because they choose Kamala. You don't get mad because they choose Trump. That's what's so good about this country.
But I believe you should know who you're voting for. Here's
Yes,
what I have an
I
issue
do
with.
know who I'm voting for, but it's none of your business.
I'm saying the American people in general need to know who they're voting for in terms of
I'm sure they do.
why are you voting for this person? Like, why are you not just because they like this one, they like what Trump said at this rally, they like
We're
Harris
at the brink of World War III, it could be.
I
okay?
agree.
And that's the issue right here.
I agree.
That's what you really got to think
We're
about.
probably closer than ever to World War III.
Exactly.
Right now. What's
So
going
not
on?
think about all the other, to me, small things. They're small compared to what I was saying earlier on we've been spoiled. We have not been bombed on our land, and we don't want that. So this is a very, very important election. It just is.
Let me
It's a very important election. And, you know, if you didn't vote already, you have to get out and vote, because we need to keep our country safe. We need to keep our country the way it was, the strongest, the richest, and a good country to have foreigners come over. My family came over from Italy, but they came over in the right way. They did not come over illegally.
Yeah, there's a major
problem with
that's
that.
another thing that with both candidates, they campaigning on the border and the border issues. I mean, Trump, they were literally leaving. The illegals were literally leaving the country. They probably didn't even have to throw them out. They were leaving in droves. As soon as Biden got into office, they started coming in. She was supposed to be the one handling the border.
But we can go banter back and forth, back and forth. Whoever you want to vote for, you vote for, but don't tell me who to vote for.
I got you. Let's go to the next thing.
No, we're not. We're closing out.
No, we're not closing out. We need to finish on what we're
all right. Go ahead.
Doing. So she's also creating a $25,000 down payment assistance program for first-time home buyers. Okay. I have a problem with that. I'm going to tell you why I have a problem. That's a lot of money. Number one, $25,000 in assistance to first-time home buyers. Number two, there's already a housing problem in this country. So there's a problem with inflation.
Mm-hmm.
There's also a problem with the cost of housing. So what's going to end up happening when you give somebody $25,000 down payment assistance, that person maybe on the lower end of income could now afford to buy a house. That's going to then kill the middle class again, because the housing prices have skyrocketed over the last few years.
They're very high.
To the point where they're practically unaffordable. We're probably going to head into another set of foreclosures like we've seen in the past, because the interest rates are so high and the price of housing is so high.
Well, we're hoping that the election will change things for the better. We're hoping that, and we're hoping and praying, and I really mean this, praying, no matter what candidate wins, we want peace.
Job. We want them to do a good job.
And we want them to do a good job. We want to wish them well, and we want peace. We don't want no fighting if he wins or she wins. It shouldn't be that. But it really shouldn't be that.
But it is each and every American's responsibility to know who you're voting for and why you're voting for them. Go on their websites and see what they're campaigning
and
on.
not go by what a celebrity is telling you.
Yeah, a lot of
a lot of these celebrities are doing it for their own agenda. And so go by what you really feel and what works for you as an American. Everybody, go on their website, see what your issues are for either him or her. And if it's her, I wish her the best, do the best for the country. If it's him, I wish him the best, because it is our country.
Yeah.
And that's it. And I want to close out. Time is up. Thank you. Tune in again. It's always something crazy going on the Andrea Givino show. And thank you, Jesus. See you next time.
God bless.
God bless.